65 is coming out in theaters this next week, and it looks like we're going to have a cool Tyrannosaurus Rex. And T-Rexes have been awesome throughout the history of movies. So today I thought it would be fun to rank some T-Rexes from film history. Just a disclaimer, I know not all of these are technically Tyrannosaurus Rexes, but anything your mom would say, oh, that's a T-Rex, then it's going to count for this tier list. First up on our list is going to be Gwangi or Gwangi. This cool Allosaurus is from the movie called The Valley of Gwangi, and it's from 1969. He fights like cowboys and an elephant. It's animated by Ray Harryhausen, so it's got that stop motion feel. So very cool. I'm going to be putting it in B tier. It's just a great start for us. In 1988, we had The Land Before Time, and all the dinosaurs in that movie, very cute, right? Except for one, and that's the sharp tooth. It's what they call the T-Rex in that movie. And this dinosaur is scary, dude. Its eyes are like dead and like evil looking, and it's just out to murder people. Plus it killed Littlefoot's mom, which is pretty messed up. So he's effective. I think this is an S tier dinosaur. If you've never seen Land Before Time, the first one is very good, and I recommend that you give it a watch. In Land Before Time 2, there was a T-Rex called Chomper, and he's like a little baby. And so he's fun for different reasons, right? He's not scary or big and chasing anybody around, but the other little dinosaurs are trying to teach him how to be, not evil and everything. But then they end up getting him back to his parents, and it turns out, oh, not all sharp teeth are evil, bloodthirsty monsters. Some of them are just parents who are missing their children. And so this guy is going to be getting an A tier from me. Next up in 1991, we have Rex from the movie Adventures in Dinosaur City. Little known movie, probably more famous online at least for the bad video game that came off of it. But it is not good. It's very much a Ninja Turtles kind of ripoff. It's going for like those kind of vibes. Some kids get sucked into their favorite cartoon, and then they've got to live through the adventure. And Rex is like the son of a guy who turned on the whole city. It's a very complicated plot. It doesn't matter. Like, look at this guy. He is big and bulky, and anytime he fights, all he does is just throw punches at people. He just punches, and then cavemen fly across the room, which is pretty cool. But when it comes to being a dinosaur, he's actually pretty lame, and so I'm going to put him in D tier. As bad as Rex was, though, Mr. Big, the bad guy of the movie, is a Carnotaurus, and he's even worse. I just don't like him. I think that he's bad, he's dumb, and I don't know. Just don't. If you're gonna watch this movie, there's an AI high-res version of it on YouTube, and like that's the best bet for you. But I don't really think it's worth your time. He's F tier. Now we're going to get to a dinosaur that I've actually talked about before on one of my tier lists when I talked about the Godzilla movie series. Godzillasaurus, the dinosaur that would eventually mutate into Godzilla because of like radiation and everything, back in Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. He's pretty cool. He's fighting like the military and everything. He's getting shot up by him, and eventually he turns into Godzilla, so that's pretty awesome. For this guy, he's going in B tier. Next up, we're going to talk about Rexy, or Roberta, I guess was what it was named originally, but it's the T-Rex from the Jurassic Park movies. Well, actually just the first Jurassic Park and then the Jurassic World series. But this is the big T-Rex, the one from the scene where it's turning over the Jeeps, the one that busts in at the end of the first Jurassic Park, the one that's there at the end of the first Jurassic World. And so this is a real good dinosaur. I mean, Jurassic Park really has established itself as like one of the only actually good dinosaur series of movies. And, I think it's earned it with this one. This is an S tier T-Rex. In 1993, we got an animated movie called We're Back, a Dinosaur Story, in which dinosaurs are taken from the past, given a cereal that helps make them smart, and then they kind of travel through time. They end up in present-day New York, and they get into all kinds of mischief, like being, kind of roped into being a part of an evil circus. The movie is wild, and the dinosaur is voiced by John Goodman, and I really enjoy this movie. I grew up watching it, so nostalgia is definitely really, really heavy when it comes to me thinking about this movie. But I want to give, Rex a B. I'm afraid to go any higher because I think it might just be nostalgia blinding me, but I think that he's a fun character and everything. 1993 also brought us the Super Mario Bros. Movie, which is, again, if you've never seen it, not the best, but definitely a lot of fun. It's a good bad movie. There's a lot going on, and one of the crazy things that's going on in that movie is Dennis Hopper as King Koopa. Now, he isn't technically a Tyrannosaurus for most of the movie, but during the final conflict at the end, he does get shot with some de-evolution guns, which turn him into a T-Rex, which eventually melts into a puddle of slime. I am going to have to put this one pretty low because he's only a T-Rex for like 20 seconds. And so I think I'm going to have to put it in D tier, though the design on it is super cool. In 1994, we have the weirdest of all of the T-Rexes we're going to be talking about today. This is a T-Rex named Michael, who was played by Paul Walker. And the movie is called Tammy and the T-Rex. Tammy is Denise Richards, is Michael's girlfriend. And he gets like killed by like some big cats in like a zoo. And then his brain gets put into the robot that looks like a T-Rex. And then he goes around and he like eats people. And it's crazy. And so yeah, I don't think it's good, and the fact that it's a robot T-Rex also kind of knocks him down a bit as well. So I'm gonna have to put it in F tier. Hey, look, another T-Rex that I've talked about in another one of my tier lists. This one is Rex from the Toy Story movies. And Rex is an A tier. I think that he's really fun, a nice little like surprise, and he's just kind of subverts your expectations as to what a T-Rex should be like, right? He's nervous. He doesn't have any confidence, but he is a very, very enjoyable character. He's entertaining to watch, and for that, he does deserve that A. Theodore Rex teams up with Whoopi Goldberg to solve crimes in the movie Theodore Rex. He looks like an extra from that Dinosaurs TV show that was on like ABC when I was growing up, which isn't on the list just because we're talking about movies, not talking about TV. But that is some good dinosaur content right there.
Now, this bat may be a little too heavy for you. Ow!
Not the mama!
I should have seen that coming. No!
Good, of course, might be subjective. Either way, Theodore Rex is big and goofy and pretty dumb. The movie itself is not very good. I don't know, if you've never seen it and you really, really like dinosaurs, maybe watch it and maybe you'll enjoy it. But that being said, I'm still going to have to put Theodore Rex down in the D tier. Now, this one is probably going to be controversial. Barney the Dinosaur, which did have a movie, Barney's Great Adventure. Barney gets a real bad rap, right? There's a whole documentary even about how much everybody hated Barney. But Barney had good intentions, right? Putting Barney low on a tier list like this is like low hanging fruit. It's what he's like, oh yeah, you got to put Barney low. And so for that reason, he's going to stay up some. I think that he's bringing, a lot of joy to small children. I did grow up in the age of Barney. There are pictures of me as a young child wearing a Barney shirt. And so, for that reason, I'm going to let him live in the C tier. The Carnotaurus in Disney's Dinosaur is going to be next up. And this thing looks so mean. It just looks like it is out to rip people up. And I love that about it. I think it makes him an effective villain, an effective thing to be staying away from. I also really like the horns. I think that it's a good look that, doesn't get enough play. Sure, there is like some direct-to-video movies that are dealing with Carnotauruses too, but I want to stay towards more like some of these more well-known things. So this guy can represent kind of like that whole species, and he represents them well. He's going to be going up to the A tier. Man, I've talked about dinosaurs a lot. I didn't realize it, but I talked about this dinosaur, the V-Rex, from the 2005 King Kong before, way back in the first video I really ever put out on the channel. And these guys are cool. They're like a T-Rex, but they're, got bigger heads and a million teeth. And I think that they're pretty cool looking. I don't have much else to say about them, but that's an A tier. Night at the Museum gets us another T-Rex named Rexy, but this time it's just a skeleton of a dinosaur that acts like a dog, which sounds pretty awesome if you ask me. And I think that it works out well in the movie. Those are some pretty fun movies too. If you've never seen those, I definitely recommend checking them out. They're old enough now where it's definitely possible people watching this video haven't seen them. I think that B tier is going to be a really good place for Rexy. Tiny the T-Rex from Meet the Robinsons will be our next one to look at. And it's funny, it talks, which is rare for a T-Rex that is like this, right? There's the humanoid kind of ones like Theodore Rex and everything, but this is a big T-Rex that is able to talk and has funny moments. Not the main character by any means, but I do enjoy it. Again, I think B tier is a good place for this dinosaur. Brendan Fraser is going to show up in the movie Journey to the Center of the Earth, and in that he battles against the Gigantosaurus, which it's argued that's what it is because it has 3 fingers instead of 2. You look online, you can find people arguing about just about everything. But no matter what type of bipedal dinosaur predator it is, it's got a pretty cool look. Its head is, I don't know, stylized in a way where it doesn't feel realistic. Not to say that it necessarily was going for that, but I just don't particularly like the design that much. The coloring also, it is pretty boring, so I think it's going to go into that C tier. Then we have the Tyrannosaurus in Land of the Lost, which is a remake of an old TV show with Will Ferrell is in the movie. And, again, this is one where it doesn't do anything particularly special for me. Also, to be fair, the only time I watched this movie was on an airplane, so maybe I'm not being the most fair to it. But just based off what I can remember and the little bit of research that I was doing while I was working on this, I think it's just going to end up being C tier. Though it is pretty cool, Will Ferrell's like riding on it and everything, but eh. And then that's going to bring us to our last one, which is going to be Butch from the movie The Good Dinosaur, voiced by Sam Elliott. It's a cowboy dinosaur, we've come full circle, right? Our first dinosaur was fighting cowboys, and now our last dinosaur is a cowboy. And so it's a great fun design, a lot of character in it, great voice, a fun part of the movie. I'm going to give it an A tier. I think it's just hard to argue that it's bad. And that's going to finish up my T-Rex tier list. Thanks so much for stopping by. Make sure to maybe check out some of those other tier lists that I've mentioned earlier in the video. There's a lot of stuff out there that kind of really ties together. Hey, and if you enjoyed this, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It really does help out the channel, and appreciate any likes or comments as well. Let me know any future tier lists that you think I should do. I'm always open to suggestions. Until next time, we'll see you later. Take care.